Welcome to the Water Dragon. Testing. Okay, guys. So welcome back. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you guys' time, your attention, your awareness, in everything that I do. Okay, so this is a spiritual book study. So as the title says, for now, I might change it. So this is part 2, week 4, the art and practice of astral projection, as well as mind magic, paganism by Kevin Fulton. So I'm going to go ahead and probably see if I can add that on here, but if not, it'll be in the description. So there's look out for the audio for Mind Magic by Kevin Fulton, Paganism. So yeah, we have quite a few slides to go through, but I'm pretty fast. So we're gonna go through them, and whatever I don't fit in this week, I will touch base on next week. So let's get this party on the road, guys. Yes. Spiritual book study by the Water Dragon. Okay, as you see, this is part 2. Okay, the art and practice of astral projection by Ophiel and Mind Magic by Kevin Fulton. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, welcome back. Today is Sunday, part 2 of week 4, the art and practice of astral projection. Let's get into it. So the art and practice of astral projection by Ophiel. Okay. This slide is from last week, but it basically talks about the methods of astral projection that this author gets into. So he gets into the little system, the dream method, the light method, and the symbol system method. And so this week, week 4, we are just getting into the dream method. It's supposed to be the little system first, but I was told the dream method. For me, really. So, and this is a book study, and I figure, okay, well, there's maybe a reason why I was drawn and I channeled to do the dream method. So some of this is channeling, and well, some of the clarifications, as I'm reading this, I have questions. Oh, what does he mean? What does this mean? So I'll put it in. So a lot of weeks 1, 2, and 3 certain things were channeled. So you guys should go back to those weeks. This is week 4, excuse me, week 4, part 2. So there's a part 1. So that one's already up. This is up too, technically, because it's live. So all of them are being live streams. The book studies have a playlist. So look under playlists. You'll see a whole intro, and you'll see a schedule, which is, I said in the, it's more of a guide than an exact schedule, because how it turned out and reading the book and everything that comes along with reading these books. So let's go into it. By Ophiel, right? The Art and Practice of Astral Projection by Ophiel. And now we come to the end of theory, introduction, and the end of questions, and we can start on actual projection work. Different methods of projection. Like I said, the little method, the dream method, the light, the body of light method, and the symbol system method. All right. If you have been following me, you'll notice that I kind of recap and go over the same ideas. And this has been the staple statement since I started. Sorry. The staple statement that I've been saying in all my slides, and it still holds true, and it's still a download, and it's still what it is. Not everybody is going to be in agreement with this, and it's fine. Everything is energy, vibration, words, information, thoughts, frequency, and certain information holds certain energy and vibration, and it may not sync with you. So that is perfectly fine. Everybody is in their own individual path in this lifetime. But as I say here, introduction, ascension. Ascension is the goal of this lifetime for those who are spiritually awakened. So we need to come to the understanding and knowing we don't exist. Yet we are very real. Yet, yes, we are real, yet the physical form is an illusion. So for those of us that have heard the term, the matrix, the holographic matrix, and all of that, yes, it's very true. It's an illusion. So the only thing that exists is your observation. So I'm going to read this one more time. Ascension. Ascension is the rise in consciousness. So the rise in consciousness and awareness. Ascension is the goal of this lifetime for those who are spiritually awakened. So we need to come to the understanding and knowing we don't exist, yet we are very real. Yes, we are real, yet the physical form is an illusion. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this statement is really the reason why I took out this book, Mind Magic by Kevin Fulton. The author himself says, "You are not your mind and you are not your body. These are actually tools available to your authentic inner self, consciousness, or pure being. These different words all indicate the same thing, and that thing is experienced as pure presence." Pure presence. Okay, remember, you're not your body, you're not your physical form, it's simply an illusion. So in this illusion, how far deep into the awareness do you go? Okay, look at my channelings. I go deep. A lot of my channelings go deep into that statement. Okay, guys? All right, sorry guys, sorry. All right, going in, because we cover 2 books in this slide, and we still don't finish all of Kevin Fulton's paganism. So we have to finish that. But the audio is done. The audio is done because I read the chapter, and so that'll be part 4 will be under this. Chapter 4, week 4 of Kevin Fulton Paganism will be under this video. So definitely look out for it. All right, let's get going. Okay, consciousness. I love talking about the consciousness because consciousness is the all. Okay. Consciousness is everything. Knowing you are the pure being that observes itself in a physical form. We are observators. I had channeled a couple weeks ago observators. The word observators, do not know if it's a word. Grammarly did not correct me, so I don't know. So it was to say that we are the conductors of our physical existence, or of our existence in general. We are the conductors. We are observators. We are literally a consciousness that conducts its own life force energy. You know, everything is energy, frequency, and consciousness creates its own soul. So consciousness is the all, greater than the soul, greater than the light body. You can ascend greater than the light body. Humanity, we are simply eyes looking into our own reality to learn lessons. We are literally the nothingness. The nothingness is consciousness. So it's very interesting, because when I say nothingness, I'm not saying that we have no value. That's not what the nothingness means. It's to say that we are everything and nothing all at the same time. The great potential, if everything is based on our consciousness, awareness, and observation, the potential for our physical reality, as well as every other plane of reality, is limitless, very much limitless. We are literally the nothingness. The nothingness is consciousness. So we create a physical form simply to learn lessons. Once again, you are not victims of your own manifestations. Create now humanity with deliberate purpose. Okay, this also was a statement. A lot of these few slides were also reiterated last week. Because this is the fundamentals of ascension. This is ascension. This is what ascension means, to rise again. Rise again in your awareness, understanding that you are not victim to any aspect of your existence, not your school, not your job, not, it gets deep. I don't like getting controversial. Okay. Basically, in this reality, in this third dimension, question every aspect. What you eat, how you breathe, why do you breathe? Why, how? Think. Anyway, it gets deep. This is for those who are metaphysical and really understand, who have a basis of some form of understanding of spirituality, really, the very basic, because this goes really deep. To say you're nothingness, you're simply consciousness. Because we're not taught that, okay? We're not taught that. So it's like reprogramming your understanding of your own existence by knowing you're not just the physical form. Consciousness also refers to what is called the third eye. We are the consciousness that creates our reality, okay? So it's not just, the third eye has many layers of awareness. Okay, so there's many layers of awareness and existence. We are going into the nothingness, understanding we don't even physically exist, yet we exist. consciousness can be broken down as well. That's something I had downloaded and understood, channeled as I was saying it, that we were just like, oh, we're just consciousness. And I'm a clear channel. So as I'm channeling, as I'm reading these, sometimes the channels will come through, and there's a greater understanding that'll come through and kind of clarify or add on to whatever it is I'm saying. So like, as I was saying, consciousness is the all, and we're just consciousness. My higher self was like, well, consciousness can be broken down as well. Just like many layers of planes and bodies, consciousness has different levels of awareness based on many different factors. So consciousness itself also have different levels of power and awareness based on the age of that awareness. And like, there's so much that goes into just awareness, consciousness, awareness, same thing. So it gets very deep. Simply remember, humanity, you cannot be a victim of life circumstances. Always manifest your reality with presence, attention, and intention. So we go into that again this next slide, because it's very, 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 very important. Those are the 3 keys to meditation: presence, attention, and intention. Just saying we are an awareness is the very basics, because we don't even understand that, right? It's I'm understanding it with you. This is a book study. I don't know any more or less than anybody. I just like slides. I'm a visual learner. I like to see, and so it is. Just saying we are an awareness is the very basics, because we don't understand that much, because we don't even understand that much. That was a download from the other day. It's funny because that's exactly what I wrote here. All right. So this is still kind of an intro. This is my state of mind, my understanding. This is what ascension is. Ascension is the rise in consciousness, awareness, knowing you exist beyond the physical form, being able to manipulate your physical form by going into the inner planes, the etheric plane, the astral plane, the mental plane, the lower astral, the higher astral. And within those planes, I was told also, as I was reading that last week, that there's many other planes within those planes. Okay, so it's infinite, very much so infinite. Okay, so the art and practice of astral projection by Ophiel. So we get into it real quick. I've gotten into this week 2 and week 3, which is presence, attention, and intention. When you're meditating, the point of meditation is to be present in the now, in your awareness. Okay, and that's passive. The now, the state or fact of existing, occurring now. Okay, so in your now, your awareness, you exist now. That is the whole point of meditation, to be present. You don't try to control your thoughts, because that'll be hard. But you're just aware, you're just the observator. You're observating. You're just an awareness. So you're just observing your thoughts. Do not be triggered by your thoughts. You're simply in presence until you get better. The more you meditate, the better you get. Okay, so an example of presence is you may simply enjoy the experience of pure being. Okay, attention is active. Paying attention is active. You're not simply in presence anymore. Now you're using the presence to create. Okay, so attention would be concentrating on a discrete aspect of awareness. What are you looking into manifesting? What do you want? An example is focusing your awareness on your intention while experiencing the state of presence. Be very clear about your deeply felt desires. Like I was saying, this is like very much a form of very much a form of law of attraction. That's how you bring things to you, by being in the now, the presence where there is no true time. There's only the presence and now. But then when you take that presence and add attention to it, and then the next level is intention. When you place intentions on your attention, you then can, what? Example, deliberate focus around your purpose, then you will find them manifesting with effortless ease. I don't know why I don't have a definition here for intention, but that's basically the example for it. All right, let's get going. This too is I want to say a mild review. This too is a review. The author, I learned something about astral projection because in the book, he goes into what is the soul. And the soul, when we look it up in the dictionary, it says the soul is the spirit and the spirit is the soul. And then it compares spirits to ghosts and da-da-da. And then we then have to get into the alchemy of what is soul. So I have that in chapter 1, week 1 for astral projection. I was going to put that here again, but too much review. The slides are going to be too long, but I put again what is really needed to be understood, I feel, and repeating it over and over gets in my brains, and therefore I understand it. Okay, if the above is true, why don't we remember our nightly projections? So in the book, it talks about consciousness and how a portion of our consciousness leaves the body, and it gets deep. So read the book yourself. So I don't go through every single page, but I do very much break down the chapters as much as possible so we can understand it. And the most important part is practice. So this is the art and practice of astral projection. We get into theory and practice. Okay, so the reason why you don't remember is that the bulk of your consciousness is in the physical body and remains there most all your life unless you consciously transfer it elsewhere. And now you have the secret of astral projection. Okay, the secret of astral projection. Sorry, I got distracted for a minute. Okay, so a bulk of your consciousness is in the physical body and remains there most all your life until you consciously transfer it elsewhere. And now you have the secret of astral projection in a nutshell. You do not project any etheric body or an astral body. You do not project anything. All you do is transfer consciousness to another body other than the physical body. So you have many layers of body. You have to understand that. You have to understand the different layers of the body and how you're simply consciousness, and how it is that you can transfer your consciousness to the different layers of the inner planes in order to manipulate and manifest here in the physical plane. That's why you have to understand you are greater than the physical form. That is ascension humanity. Understanding you are simply consciousness, and this consciousness, it too has power and can be broken down, like stated prior. Okay, the dream method. The author calls the state the state not awake, not asleep, the neither state. Neither state consciousness of dreaming and of dualness. Several times before you are strong enough to proceed with the dream, but in time you will be able to go on. So he speaks of like basically being awake and not completely asleep. I've had moments like that. And sometimes you can get stuck, feel stuck anyway. Okay. Hold on, guys. The dream method, neither state. He goes, it's important. Okay. I put the inner planes, but because he's referring to the inner planes here. It says, with the consciousness that you are dreaming will come another kind of consciousness, that of being dual. You'll realize that there are two of you, one you in the dream and one you at home, in bed, asleep. He goes to say that this sensation you will not forget. Okay, so I have had weird dreams. So I have had this, but to have it continuously, I haven't practiced it. I'm saying for me, I'm still on writing down my dreams. I'm writing down my dreams. I'm recalling my dreams. I'm finding out what the dreams mean. So that's that's pretty much what is happening with me here at this time. Okay, let's get going. Okay, so the dream method. You learn to know you are in a dream. You start to disregard all the appearance of the dream and do anything you want. So now, once you get comfortable with what you see in the dream, the laws of the that realm, because it's basically a realm. The dream state is a realm, and projecting your consciousness in your dream state is very powerful. Dreaming is very powerful. Do not take that for granted. And like I've stated before last week, or I think this week rather, go and check. I speak on it. Basically, everyone dreams. Everyone dreams. Even animals dream, right? So the power in dreaming is a matter of knowing you're dreaming and being able to project your consciousness. You are now in etheric projection. He goes. Give me a second, guys. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. This is why I do this late, because I have my children, and then anyway, but here we go. Let's continue. You are now in an etheric projection. You can now turn and walk away, examining everything in the dream with a critical eye. So remember, we got into that last part one, really. Part one, we get into the critical eye. If you want to, you can start looking for the silver cord, he says. That one I haven't done that. Would be interesting. Okay, you could look for the silver cord. that is supposed to bind you to your body. This is supposed to be like, this is what keeps your life force and brings you back to your own body no matter where you go. The cord excuse me, the cord has no actual substance. It is just a sort of stream of consciousness, a sensation flowing back to the body. You have to actually visualize it a bit in your imagination in order to see it. So that's interesting. Remember, so when you're in your dream, you have to have a critical eye, you have to have a lot of common sense. It's a little process. It's a process. You have to bring forth your senses to the other realm, okay? Because all of our senses are here in the physical form. That part is interesting where he gets into that. So this is, to me, like a dream state. So like I said, people, I'm very visual. So this can be a dream, any state. I don't know what, I've never stayed awake enough to tell you what plane, but I will be working on actually projecting in my dreams. Like I said, right now I'm just writing my dreams, remembering and recalling my dreams. That's what I'm doing mostly. All right, let's get going. The dream method. Okay. There is no time in the inner planes. There's no time technically, physically either, but we have been locked into that state of awareness, and therefore we believe there is time. So because we all consciously and collectively agree on that, that's what is part of this physical plane now, time. But he goes, there is no time in the inner planes. Many things in the inner planes will correspond with Earth. You can see a thing when it is new and when it is falling to pieces of old age, use, and the sight of both new and old at once. So I'm guessing because there is no time, you see new, old, everything at once. That space is a totally different space. It's a totally different awareness. The potential in your dream state is endless. So that is exactly what that I understand from that. Like I said, you understand something different, let me know. Is this a book study? Leave comments. When in the inner planes, you have to learn how to do ordinary things of that plane all over again, like a child. So in the book, he gives an example, like even like as a child in this physical realm, you have to learn how to sit down again, right? Well, when you were a child, you had to learn how to use a chair. You had to learn how to walk. You had to learn how to do basic things. So he says here, when in the inner planes, you have to learn how to do ordinary things of that plane all over again, like a child, because you're in a different plane, a different realm. Your consciousness is being projected to that realm. So now you have to bring forth that awareness and a little bit of your common sense. Well, a lot of your common sense. Okay. You will learn quickly because you are not a child, and essentially you bring forth basically a lot of your common sense to the next plane, making it easier to function there. Okay, so you'll start to learn the laws of existence in that plane. Okay, so this is, I think, also from the part 1. No. This is week 4, part 1. I don't know why I say chapter. It is chapter 2. Okay, I'm confusing myself and I'm confusing you. This specific slide comes from part 1, week 4. So we are all in week 4 as of right now, but I bring a lot of slides from the previous weeks or part 1 to this slide to make a point in each of my slides. And right here it says, before the real astral plane is reached, There's definitely another plane that exists before the astral plane, called the etheric plane. Come to recognize the plane by the scenery, by by your viewing. When you make any projection, you first hit the etheric plane. What I want you to remember now is that your first arrival on the inner plane will very likely be the etheric plane. Be prepared for this fact. So I have to do it myself to be like, yes, I know what the difference is of the etheric plane and the astral plane. Okay. I haven't projected my consciousness. And like I said, I'm just at writing journals and remembering and getting the messages and meditating and channeling through so I can understand my dreams. So it's a process for me. But he does emphasize basically getting to know the planes, and the first plane that you're going to hit first is the etheric plane. Okay, let's keep going. He says your first projection, concentrate on your etheric plane body. He very much in this book speaks on how you're going to live in the other realms. You're consciously going to be able to project yourself to your inner realms, and you'll be able to manipulate your life in the physical realm. So first projection, concentrate on your etheric plane body, okay? And then stay still, watching, studying, attention to your new surrounding that you would if you were in a strange new country. Okay, so the laws of that realm is very different from the laws of the physical realm. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. That's why he tells you to stay still watching, soak it all in, study it, attention to your inner surroundings that would, if you were in a strange new country. And that's why this was perfect. I was like, oh, let me put this lady here. It makes perfect sense. She's like in this strange new realm with a suitcase. Okay, the next slide. The difference that exists between the planes. Okay, so this one was about troubles and warnings, really. Well, let's continue, and I think I'll try to clarify what I understood by this. The difference that exists between the planes. How you interact in the physical world isn't the same and should be kept in mind on all planes. So no matter which planes you're not in the physical realm. It is not the same. It's more lucid, more fluid. Anything can happen. Potential is great. See, I'm channeling. The potential is great and crosses over into different realms and dimensions. And it's very intricate. And depending on the consciousness you are and who it is you are, you may enter into higher planes, higher realms, much quicker, much faster than others. So do keep this in mind. You should learn the law of action and how to interact well in each plane by, like I said previously, staying still, watching, studying, and then attention to your new surroundings that you would if you were in a strange country. So you should learn the laws of action and how to interact well in each plane. So gravity might be different. And like the author previously said, time, there's no time in the inner realms. So because there's no time in those realms, he says, you see old and new and big and old and everything all at one time, because guess what? It doesn't have any time. There is no time. So the laws of existence is very different. So please take the time to view and understand it. Okay, guys, stand by. Sorry about that, guys. Yes. Let me make sure you can hear me. Okay. All right. So just study your plane, know the laws of existence there, know that the intricacies, as I would say, are very, very different. Very different. So stay still, watching, absorb, soaking it, study it, okay? Pay attention to it like as if you were in a strange new country and you're learning the laws, the rules, and how to exist in that existence. Okay. He goes on to say, on the inner planes, you have to act in accordance with the laws that govern that plane, which laws are different from the laws that govern the physical plane. Learn these laws and move by them. You are going to find yourself in a very peculiar position when you try to do something if you haven't learned these laws and act accordingly. All will be well. Okay. So you, like I said, you have to learn the laws of those of existence in that plane. He says, or it'll be very peculiar, it'll be very strange. You'll be in a very strange position. You know, you might think up is down and down is up and in is out. Like, it depends. It depends on your experience. Everyone's different. So I can't wait to practice this. All week is basically what I'm gonna be doing is this. So okay. I thought this was a good touch right here. The lady sleeping, which to me, honestly, it kind of looks like clouds. I think that was the effect. Okay, so once you have made a projection from the physical body to the etheric plane, and after you have been there for a time, there's a very strong tendency to continue to project again and then again to the next inner plane. And that was like real hopeful to me, like, oh, okay, so it gets easier and easier and easier. I love that. I love knowing that. So, all right, let's keep going. Okay, so the author goes on to say, know that the way you recognize the physical world is through your five senses. You create your physical world about you by means of your five senses. Okay, and he goes on to say, I will not argue about this as you find out for yourself as you enter these inner planes. And I think in some ways he was basically saying what I say, that you simply, excuse me, you simply are the manifestors of your reality. Okay. And he's saying you create your own plane by your five senses, which is basically what Kevin Fulton says, that you're not your mind and you're not your body. So your senses, that includes your senses. So the consciousness uses the mind and body to create its physical existence. So now we're limited, we're so stuck and limited to the physical existence. Now we have to understand that we exist beyond the limit, beyond the limits, the air quotes limits that we thought, which was the five senses only in the physical realm. But now we're learning to project within our dreams. And so he says that you have to learn, you have to bring these five senses into the next plane so you can experience the next plane as real as the physical plane. Some people do have these moments. I've had people say, oh, I literally felt someone touch me in that other plane, or I smelt this in the other plane. So like, you may or may not have already have your senses, but consciously bringing forth your senses is different form of awareness to that reality, because now you're bringing your sense of touch, making that reality more real, that plane more real. Okay, so I'm gonna read that again. Know that the way you recognize the physical world is through your five senses. You create your physical world about you by means of your five senses. I will not argue about this, as you can find out for yourself as you enter these inner planes. That is, that it will be necessary for you to carry your creative powers, the five senses, with you, and to transfer them on through the inner planes too. As you project, you cannot function on the inner planes fully until you have made this transfer. It's like bringing your luggage. You know, you can't forget your clothes and all of that in the airport. You got to bring it with you. And your reality here is real because of your five senses, right? We can get in deep. You can have more than many senses, but to function normally, you bring forth your five senses to the inner planes so that it could be real. That is the whole power of this inner plane, bringing forth your five senses, bringing forth your awareness, your sense of taste, your sense of feeling, touch, you name it. The author goes also, I think, in last part one, into like, you kind of have to start to live in these planes in order to be able to bring forth and control the physical plane. Once you get a hold of the inner planes, as above, so below, as within, so without. So you're going to start to be able to manipulate the physical plane. It seems like that's what all these authors are saying, the same thing. That's why I think these two books do make sense and they go hand in hand. Okay. The author goes on to say, the first transfer you made was the sense of sight. The second transfer you made was a sense of feeling as you tried to walk, move about there. These two senses are very closely connected. When you started to bring through the sense of hearing, the fun starts. Okay, so when you start to bring the sense of hearing, he says, the fun starts. Right away, the first sense is sense of sight. You're seeing the plane, then you start to feel, because you want to walk around and feel your plane. And then he says the fun starts when you start to hear stuff. Then it's a wrap. The sense of hearing is a sense that you do not use too much. Certainly not as much as you use seeing, feeling, and the impact of inner plane on its transfer cause all the unusual noises, yet it is very, it was not really noise in the sense of the world, but only a disturbance. Later on, you will take the last two senses on through into the inner plane. I found I had no trouble with the sense of smell and taste. So I personally think it's a wrap if you can start smelling and tasting things in another realm other than the physical realm, then it's very real, you feeling and smelling and tasting, you know. So that definitely would bring forth a different level of awareness to your existence. You would most definitely start to understand you exist beyond this physical form. See, that's what the mind and body is simply the tool for awareness. And you bring forth your awareness to the next plane, and to the next plane, you bring forth your senses, and you can exist in that plane. And that's where he also goes into how you start to understand there's multiple versions of you in many different planes of existence. So it gets deep, guys. Okay, so the author goes on to say, many dreams start out nicely and then run into trouble. At first, you seem to be able to walk about. So this is really the warning part that I was supposed to reiterate. Well, to try to break down so it can make sense to me, to us. So he goes into saying, many dreams start out nicely and then run into trouble. At first, you seem to be able to walk about easily and somewhat naturally, and then there comes a change and your limbs seem like lead. This change is feeling in characteristics of changing that takes place when you go over the lines from the etheric plane to the lower astral plane. This change is the first sign you will have that you have gone over the line. As I said, that the lower astral plane and the etheric planes are very similar looking. So, excuse me. So he's saying to kind of take note that you will feel basically stiff as you transfer from one plane to another plane. And this is how you know you're going into another plane, and that these planes look very similar, but they're very different. Okay. Okay, so remember that there is a tendency to advance along the lower astral into the higher astral. And so you may find yourself coming to a plane where astral matter begins to disappear and lights of colors begin to take its place. Okay, so it seems like it becomes more etherical. It becomes, matter begins to disappear and light of color. So anyway, like I always say, matter does not matter. We don't exist. So the higher up it seems, the higher astral. And so you find yourself coming to places where, so the lower astral seems to be more dense, and the higher astral seems to be more of lights and colors. So it's very different. He goes on to say, I advise you to stop there. You do not, so you do this by your will plus your critical facility. Okay, remember he explains what critical facility is, but the type of person I am, I brought forth the critical facility and the definition again. So that's what you're really going to have to use a lot of your critical facility in this, in common sense. Stop and return to the lower astral region as your exploration of higher planes should be done by means of other systems in this book rather than this dream method. So that's how he says. He says that he doesn't feel that you should continue going higher in the astral through dream time. I'm not in a position to agree or disagree with the author. I feel, we're beginners. We're going to try it out. Well, I'm a beginner. So we're going to try it out and see where it goes. and how it works. Okay. Critical facility. So that I'm giving a definition. And part 1 goes into more into detail with critical facility. Oh no, I think I bring a slide. The next slide gets into it a little bit. Critical facility is required to enable you to recognize any strange dream sight, sense, and act on it. Okay, so that's all about understanding the laws of that plane and acting accordingly so you don't find yourself in a sticky situation, because the laws of interaction are not the same. There's no time. It's very different. So you have to bring your 5 senses and use your critical facility. Start to judge and be like, what is this? How can I maneuver around this and that and the other thing? Okay. So real quick, I got into the critical facility again because that's just the way I am. So learn how to recognize you are dreaming. That was the whole part. The beginning is to learn how to recognize you're dreaming, and that's through critical facility. Is required to enable you to recognize any strange dream sight, scenes, and to act on it. Critical facility. So he goes to say critical. Critical comes from the word judge. So judge is adjustment, judge a thing. So making adjustment in your opinion of details and about details of things. So in your dream, make sure that you are making adjustments in your opinion of details and about details of things. It's a survival mechanism. That's how I feel. Things have to make sense or you're going to get hurt in the physical realm or in the astral realm. So you have to use your common sense. You have to use the critical facility, which is, once again, making adjustments in your opinion of details and about details of things so that reality can make sense. So it's like you bring forth a lot of common sense to each reality, and then you adjust and learn and move on to the next realm and go from there. So it's a process, it's a learning process. Okay, so dream method, how to start. What we learned week 4. We learned for the dream method, learn how to remember your dreams, which was to write them down, get a dream journal, start being able to recognize and recall your dreams. That's how you remember your dreams. Keep a record of your dreams. Have a dream journal. Learn how to recognize that you are dreaming. So that is the critical facility. Critical facility, having an opinion, about your dreams. Learn what you have to develop in order to know that you are dreaming. And that to me, I think, also goes into the critical facility. That also comes in with bringing forth your 5 senses, having a critical eye, paying attention, essentially paying attention in order to know that you are dreaming. Don't just sleep through a dream. Stay awake, stay aware. Learn how to wake up in a dream and start a projection. Okay, so that basically goes into staying still, studying, learning the laws. Once you start having the critical opinion, start learning the laws, start paying attention and learning how to function in that reality, bringing forth your senses and awareness and making that next plane reality just as real as the physical realm. Learning how to, like a child would, in the physical realm, they're learning how to use something as simple as a chair. Might be different in over there, remembering there's no time. Basically, awareness. While you're in your dream, you're doing work and you're bringing forth, you're projecting your consciousness awareness. Okay. Next slide. Yes, dreams. Look at that. Dreams. Sleeping. Okay, part 2. So this is part 2, paganism, ancient traditions in modern form. Okay, this is Mind Magic by Kevin Fullerton. Okay, so let's go. I was gonna leave this for part 3, but I was like, no, let's try to put this in. And whatever I don't fit in here, I'm gonna put in next week, Friday. And look out for the audio under this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, guys, share these videos, and let's do this. Okay, welcome back. Today is Sunday, part 2, week 4, Mind Magic by Kevin Fulton. This is supposed to be the schedule. So we're on time, very much so, with Mind Magic by Kevin Fulton. Week 1 was What is Mind Magic? Week 2 was Creative Visualization. Week 3 was Self-Hypnosis. Week 4 is Paganism. But with Astral Projection's a little different. So we're week 4 and we're doing the dream method because I was called to go to the dream method. I was called to break it down a little differently. I was into the bodies. So I felt that we should understand the bodies, different planes of existence. So that's what I went into for week 1. And so it's going to be broken down a little different. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the little system and the body of light for next week. Okay. And we're going to go from there. The little system isn't hard at all. So if anything, I will put not the specifics. You should be reading the book yourself. I will just put the overall summaries of how to do the little system. So anyhow, we'll see. I say one thing and we'll see. I might get, pick out specific points because I like to pick out specific points that matter in order to practice the little system yourself, just in case you are following. Okay. Okay, let's get into it. I love to repeat this because I believe it's very true. Like I said, ascension is knowing you are an awareness. And even that very awareness can be broken down. So remember, you are not your mind and you are not your body. These are actual tools available to your authentic inner self, consciousness, or pure being. These different words all indicate the same thing, and that thing is presence as pure presence. I'm sorry, experience as pure presence. Okay, so your authentic inner self, consciousness, and pure being. Remember, you're simply an awareness. So this is actually a slide from week 1, chapter 1. Mind Magic. And I just, my own bullets right here and under it. We are pure consciousness and awareness. We exist multidimensionally, simultaneously, and infinitely. So I get into that in chapter 1. Okay, so go look for chapter 1. I have them all in order in the playlist. So let's go. Let's keep going. Okay, so quick review, chapter 1, week 1, meditation and the foundation of mind magic. Okay, so meditation is the foundation of mind magic. Meditation is the foundation of many spiritual practices, but for sure, mind magic is important. Okay, so this is the author's definition for meditation. The foundation of mind magic, definition, meditation, practice of relaxing the body, stilling the mind and senses when focusing your awareness inward into silence. In general, meditation is practiced to create a mode of consciousness which leads to realization of some benefits, be it physical, mental, or spiritual. There are many health benefits associated with the regular practice of meditation, such as reduction in tension, stress, anxiety, depression, high blood pressure, and pain relief. So I was saying, I'm a nurse. I think that my patients should just hydrate and meditate, sun gaze, go in the grass, and they'll be better. They'll be better for it. All right, so this, like I said, this is a review. This slide is from chapter 1, week 1. I'm bringing forth this slide because it's very much relevant and it's a reminder of mind magic. Mind magic has to do with presence. Okay, this also is from week 1. Okay, the foundation of mind magic. The goal is to become as relaxed and still as possible while maintaining a very high level of alertness and intense focus of awareness. So you're not asleep, you're alert and you're focused. Okay, so that has to do with presence, attention, and intention. That's what you're dealing with when you're meditating. Okay, presence is the simple awareness. Attention is active. So you're bringing forth your attention to your awareness. Intentions are what are your intentions for your awareness. Okay, so you can manifest or whatever it is you wish to do at this time. Chapter 4, week 4, paganism, ancient traditions in modern forms. So yes, this is chapter 4 for paganism in modern forms. So I love this slide. This slide is so nice. Okay, let's keep going. So paganism, nature worship. That's the first part. Author definition of paganism. He goes, to me, the central and unifying theme of pagan spiritual traditions are a diversity of belief system and a deep appreciation and reverence for nature. Paganism tends to include New Age versions of ancient religions and a variety of spiritual practice. Some principal forms of modern paganism include witchcraft, Wicca, Druidism, ceremonial magic, and shamanism, just to name a few. Practices such as nature worship, meditation, yoga, prayer, chanting, singing, dancing, herbalism, healing, performing rituals, casting spells, and other forms of magic are typical. Okay. Paganism, based on the dictionaries. Based on the dictionary's definition. Okay, so that was, he pretty much nailed it. That's exactly what paganism is. And more. And more, much more. There's many things that have not yet surfaced yet. That's my download. That's what I just got. Okay, a religion other than one of the main world religions, specifically a non-Christian or pre-Christian religion. A modern religion movement incorporating beliefs or practices from outside the main world religion, especially nature worship. Modern paganism includes a respect for Mother Earth. Okay, well, that's what paganism is. It really is working with, it's more of a spiritual base than a religious base, but it's complicated. I don't want to get into it, but just for the sake of information, there we go, guys. That's what I'm about here, giving as much information as possible, not being biased or anything, trying to get to the nitty-gritty and the truth. This is a time of awakening, time of the Aquarius. Okay, A detailed exposition of paganism and its various tradition is well beyond the scope of this chapter and the purpose of this book. My intent is primarily to present some key concepts and techniques that may be used to enhance the practice of mind magic. So basically, he's saying, I don't get into it in this book about paganism. Really, that's not the reason I have this book. This book ain't got nothing to do with paganism, but I thought I'd bring it up. I thought I'd bring up paganism and how it would help in mind magic. And basically, based on what he said previously about spirituality, nature, yoga, meditation, all of it is very much paganism and how these tools can be used in mind magic. Okay, let's keep going. Paganism tends to view deities as synonymous with nature. Individual deities or spirits are typically associated with aspects of nature or human nature and the divine. It is a primary practice aimed to interact with nature or deities to cooperatively produce unique experiences, gain insight or information to manifest an intention or achieve enlightenment. The easiest method for interacting with nature is through meditation or simply engaging in silence appreciation of nature's world. So basically, meditation is a key and fundamental of this book, and that's what he emphasizes in this book, is getting to know self through meditation and how to create an easier life through meditation. So look into my previous slides, chapter 1, 2, and 3. This is 4. So we get into mind magic a lot. He talks about self-hypnosis, last chapter, visualizations, mantras, different types of japa. Japa goes into japa meditation. So all of that is in the previous slides, previous chapters. So, all right, guys. Let's keep going. Pagans celebrate the cycle of natural world, nature, the changing of the seasons, the phases of the moon, astronomical alignments, the solstice, and the equinox, associated with cycles, life growth, harvest, and disintegration. Okay, birth and rebirth. Let's keep going. He goes into how everything is alive. Okay, the inherent divinity within all things. So he says it's inherited that all things are alive. Everything. Everything contains life force energy, consciousness, and intention. There is an infinite interconnectedness of all things. All consciousness is one. Okay, very true, very, very true. I do understand to be true, and I do believe it to be true. Okay. Okay, so we're done. To be continued, paganism, ancient traditions, and modern forms. So we have to break down. It was a lot for me to bring forth both these chapters, but it was needed. I want to continue, but it'll be overwhelming for me right now if I went and did this. So that's it. Paganism, ancient tradition, and modern forms. All right, guys. So if there's any questions, let me know. I'll do my best to look it up. And if you have an input, if you feel there's something you can add on to this, because it's a book study. This is a book study. I should put on there, book study. I'm not I'm just reading and breaking down to the best of my ability, best of my knowledge, based on my previous knowledge of things, plus my own channelings. Like, I'm reading these slides and I'm channeling some of this information. And so, we are basically rediscovering the truth about our existence, our awareness, our mind, Mother Nature. It's a whole holistic approach of existence and awareness, and not being victims of our lives and our life circumstances, understanding that, this is infinite. This is definitely infinite. And I thank everyone that do watch these videos. So this is it. The water dragon. Thanks for watching. Much love to you all. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. I'm so happy this slide works. The other day, the slide did not work. Anyway, much love to you all. See you